All right. So, Mark, would you just tell me a little bit about yourself and why you chose to go with investments?
Yeah, so it's more financial planning than investments, but
Okay.
our company does both. I've just leaned into financial planning side of what we do within our business, but got a degree from K-State. It's on my iPad there. So Kansas State University actually has a major called personal financial planning. And so the reason I chose it was because my parents saved for my college and I got almost a full ride scholarship. And they said, you should probably do some of the money that looks like you might not have to use. So I met with their financial planner at the time and kind of changed direction from engineering to personal financial planning, and it's worked out really well. So I'm doing exactly what my degree's in.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
That's great. What a cool origin story, too. I
Yeah.
like that. So, how long have you been working as a financial planner?
This year, it's 20 years here. So 20 years in April, actually, is when I came here, but graduated from K-State's financial planning program in 2005 and spent 1 year at an independent financial planning firm in St. Louis. So I'm from Topeka. I knew I wanted to come back closer to home. When I told people in St. Louis I moved from Manhattan, they thought I was from the East Coast in New York City. Loved the Midwest and was happy to say, no, it's a small town in Kansas, and I'm happy to be back closer to Topeka where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, have you, in that length of time, are there some financial planning rules or guidelines that have really changed through the years and how our commerce is different? And
yeah, I mean, just in the last 3 years, AI is coming around.
Yeah.
I'll admit that when I was in college, financial planning was done in a lot of spreadsheets. So even projections for the future, data in terms of what investments to buy, and then just being able to implement things from an efficiency standpoint has really evolved. My background, actually at K-State, the degree when I graduated is called Family Studies and Human Services. It's since been rebranded. But regardless, that's what's important is the financial planning side of it has to do with people's backgrounds, their money baggage, the way they grew up, and some of the things that can't be commoditized in the industry, meaning how can I help you get over yourself in terms of what's in your way because of the way you were designed, right? And so that's a unique skill. And talking through people and life circumstances, money can be a sore subject for some people. Some people don't have enough. Some people have more than enough and are embarrassed to have it. So our background in terms of walking people through where they are, what they want, and if it's important to also leave a legacy, our job is to make sure we're helping guide them in that regard. So money becomes a tool to do everything that you'd want to in life, including living the life you want to have. But most people relate it to retirement. So that is a big part of the central focus, but there's more outside of that as it relates to financial planning.
So you almost a family counselor sometimes too, trying to figure out.
That's an interesting, to your point, the classes that I took in college were the family relationship, human development, which is interesting. But I'll admit that even going through 20 years at this company in financial planning, every 6 months, unfortunately, someone gets diagnosed with cancer, which means a journey in money, finance, emotions. We have had a lot of winter before. So it's also good things. People get disabled. Someone dies at 40, unexpected. It leaves kids and a wife or a husband to take care of a single family. So it's interesting that the dynamics of money just aren't retirement. It's going through life's ups and downs, I guess, and dealing with that emotionally is an interesting aspect. So even how you and I met, how you help people that's an emotional time for people to be transitioning from somewhere they might have lived for 30 years into a place that's usually much smaller or a place where they feel like they might be losing their independence. Half of that is mindset. If you can get them to feel free from the fact that they're making life easier, getting there is sometimes the hard part. So yeah, I love that background about financial planning for sure.
Yeah. What kind of licenses or certifications do you hold?
So the team and where I work at has been around for 50 years. We actually have a 50-year celebration in April. We're excited about that. And it's more than just me, so I can talk about mine, but there's others too. And I think at a minimum, if someone's working with a financial planner, a certified financial planner designation certificate isn't important. The degree at K-State actually allowed me the opportunity to sit for the exam after graduation, which was nice because you have to have a bachelor's, and if you don't, you have to go through a program to get prepped to be eligible to take the exam, and then of course you got to pass it. So, and then even after you pass it, you have to get 3 years of experience working underneath another financial planner. I was here then, so it was really easy to get that experience. So I think at a minimum, that's good. The other good thing that's important about that credential is it requires continuing education, so many hours every few years. So it's important to keep it up because I don't want to take that test again. It was not easy. But that was 19 years ago when I took and passed that. And now I've used the experience and continue to build upon it because, oddly enough, just passing a test doesn't make you ready to do financial planning. And so that's why I joined a team of people at Searcy. We've grown a lot in the last few years, but I think there's 6 certified financial planners, but there's also people on our team that don't do financial planning, but that help with the workload associated with the operations, the investment research. So I think the CFP at a minimum, what I did years ago, because the founder, Mike Searcy, told me I wasn't very good at tax, was he said, you should study and get a credential that helps you know more about tax. CFP does that, but the enrolled agent goes even deeper into understanding personal tax and corporate tax. So that was a great credential that helps me in regards to understanding the tax impact of all financial decisions. Not every financial planner does that. It doesn't mean I prepare taxes, right? So a lot of times it will be an idea or something suggested that I might know a little bit more of than another type of financial planner because of that designation. But at the end of the day, let's review that with your accountant that understands your full tax picture that I might not be aware of. So enrolled agent, much like a CPA, is another credential that I would suggest for people. But if you're interested, I've got a document that shows the several other credentials our team has. And I will mention this, outside of even credentials or designations, our team at Searcy Financial and Alice Investment Advisors serves our clients as a team. So it's not me serving one client in a client meeting earlier in this conference room the other day. There's someone else sitting with me, taking notes, getting experience. Right now, I've been here 20 years, so it might be a younger person and they don't have to participate in the recommendation part as much, but that's a great area for them to learn and provide outside perspectives. And I'm finding now they're starting to know more than I do. So and that's not bad or good. It's just like when you're focusing on people and the conversation, it's good for someone else to be taking notes and kind of digesting it differently, which is pleasant when you have a team doing that for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because everybody has their specialty or their special interests that words or sentences will perk their ears before they'll perk somebody else's. And then you have that dialogue later talking about, okay, well, I heard this. And so, yeah, that's good.
And even with the credentials, there's others in the firm that are pursuing other, like I said, tax was more of a specialty I was attempting to bring from a lack of not knowing, but there's other credentials the team is seeking so that they know more about a specific area. For example, variable comp, there's a designation for that, or if it's estate planning, not that we're going to prepare documents, but there's some deep diving. And I'm pursuing one later this year called 2164, and it's 21 is the coming of money and 64 is the age of thinking about what kind of legacy you want to leave or what you want to do as it relates to setting family up in a different way. So it's the open dialogue between generations. A lot of times it's family because people want to help their family, but that is a specialty I want to bring since I feel like I'm talking with more older families about the transition of what they want to be remembered for and imprint on family from a money or not-for-profit perspective.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So what's your typical client like as far as their needs, their income, what they're looking for? What's your typical client?
I would say that that's evolved over the years. So I'll tell you what it started at. I've been here 20 years, and back 20 years ago, the founder had primarily built a practice with physicians. So at one time before that, it was 100% physicians. And the reason for that was he sold disability insurance in the 70s and 80s. And physicians' disability insurance is very important. So when I came in 2006, it had evolved a bit more because physicians have parents that aren't physicians and refer to other people or business owners. And then it's evolved even more than that because in 2010, our team here started the second company, which is Alice Investment Advisors. And part of that came out of a need to serve a population that wasn't getting qualified fee-only financial planning, meaning in 2006, we had firm minimums for investment management. So we'd only help people of a certain size. I was helping the founder help his friends that he'd been serving for 20 years. And back 20 years ago, they didn't start with what the firm had grown to. So we really liked the idea of still being able to serve people from a start. No one starts out with $1 million or whatever the minimum is. So Alos Investment Advisors actually came around to compete with the robo-advisors. If you remember 15 years ago, a computer will manage your money. Mm-hmm. Well, we were a team managing money, but a team of certified financial planners to be a person to bounce perspective and ideas off from a planning perspective. So then everybody became a prospect. So good, bad, or indifferent, that's when we really grew, because it was more of a, anybody who was interested in the help, we found a model for them. I think it was 5 years after Alos started, we started offering lighter financial planning. Searcy has always offered comprehensive planning at different service levels. So Alos does provide light financial planning for a monthly subscription fee. That's worked out really well, because when someone comes and sees us, we don't have to have the awkward conversation. Sounds like they don't meet our minimums. We're not a great fit. And refer them out. We used to have to qualify people years ago, but that's a thing of the past, because we can kind of help them with where they are and what they need. Young, old, doesn't matter to us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The other thing I'll mention that's interesting from that we knew would happen, but it's been a fun surprise, I guess, is people in financial planning, if they do the right stuff and they're young and they save, they do meet those minimums at Searcy. And a lot of times the needs from a financial planning perspective become more complex over time. So the comprehensive services at Searcy are better for people that have more wealth, that have maybe kids and a spouse, benefits from 2 jobs. It just becomes more of a need. And so just this last month, we had 5 clients, we call it graduate. Not that it's bad or good, but they needed more help, and their assets were at a certain level from Alos Investment Advisors to Searcy. So we don't judge where people start, but we help them wherever they are.
So you have a beginner's level and then an experienced level.
Yep. And that's been good, because at the end of the day, from attracting talent and these people that we have working on our team, you can imagine when I started, I was helping the founder with people that were 30 years older than me. So most of what I did was supporting people that were within 5 years of his age, younger or older. And Mike is now 70, I think. So now we're attracting talent that wants to serve their peers. So the younger people in their 20s are serving people that are in their 20s. They're buying their first house together. So it's a different relationship. And a lot of times, from a trust perspective, older people want a more experienced person, where it takes a while to build that trust, especially when you're handing over life savings. So that's been good for training young people and then having lifetime relationships with clients, because they're going through life cycles together.
That kind of knocks my next question about your expectations of your clients. You really you don't have to have any expectations, because you've got all of the services that can help somebody that's just starting out, or somebody that's got money.
Yeah, and a lot of times people have never really experienced what financial planning is. They think, they just manage my money. We will do that too. Our focus is on financial planning, and it used to be before, if you just want us to manage the assets, so it's comprehensive, so it's one or the other. Now we do that, and sometimes people don't know the value that can be provided from financial planning till they're introduced to the idea and what it could be. My hope and thought is that financial planning pays for itself. Yes, it's a service for a fee, but if there's the tax savings idea that gets discovered in a conversation that's not rocket science, but unless it has a discussion around it and a plan behind it, it doesn't get implemented. I'm a big believer in that. But if people don't value it, we don't make people pay for things they don't value. But over time, we find that people learn that it's worthy of paying a fee for and getting the service. And so people can start with whatever they want.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. So you know what we don't know.
Yep. And you know this is part of the biggest benefit. And I think a lot of other companies like yours, or small businesses in general, do, is we learned a long time ago, you can't be good at everything. So I told you I'm an enrolled agent, but I don't prepare tax returns. So it's really good for me to know good accountants, right? But we've taken it a step further, meaning that it's not just estate planning, accountants, lenders, the stuff that finance is related, but businesses like yours are very important. And probably 2 or 3 years ago, we took it upon ourselves to make sure we understood the senior market, because the founder had found clients that were within 5 to 10 years of his age. And a lot of them are aging in different ways in our community. And we wanted to know businesses like yours that could make their lives easier. And so it's another example. I just had a meeting with someone that was seniors going through a claim process with long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
While we sold insurance years ago, we don't sell it now, but we aren't prepared and experienced to walk through the claims process. That is a interesting process I'm learning about. Glad they have long-term care, but there's certain things to be recommended in the doctor's notes and how many days you get to stay in care before you move. Like, there's people that do that for a living and for a fee, and rather than just do it once every 3 years when a claims pops up, I trust someone else to introduce to help my client if they're interested and value the help. Mm-hmm. So instead of being all things to all people, trying to surround ourselves with a great network is very important.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree on that. There's a lot of things that I want to add value to the clients that I'm serving by giving them people that I trust and can help them in the areas that I'm not.
It's a win-win. If you find great people, particularly small businesses, there's great big businesses too, but there's something to be said for small businesses that can help each other. It helps the whole community.
Absolutely. So is there anything in the investment world or things that people are doing that fairly regularly that you would advise them not to do? Does that make sense? Like, are there investment types, or is there something that people are doing regularly that you want to just say, stop doing that?
Couple things. I'll be careful what I say from a compliance standpoint, but one thing I'll just say is you don't need to watch the news all day long. I mean, like, it's important for us to know what's going on in the investment markets, give advice or create opinions around it. But if you watch the news station, it's a little more sensationalized. That creates some either panic or excitement or opinion. But at the end of the day, it needs to be, I would just say, muted, because good investment decisions aren't driven by emotion. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that. I'm also not the biggest fan on all these illiquid assets or things that aren't traditional markets. Like, we buy and sell traditional equities, exchange traded funds. There's fixed income and CDs and those kind of things that we can help with too, but they're all liquid. You can get to your cash, transfer to your bank all in a day. So nothing is illiquid that locks your money up. Mm-hmm. People still do these things. It just might not be under our umbrella. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Another example is I don't frown on someone owning 3 rentals. It's a part of their financial plan. It creates passive income, but we're not the one facilitating it. Mm-hmm. And serving people in the real estate market, they want to participate in that. Other things are Bitcoin, all that stuff that's coming. It's fine to do at, like anything else, small exposure, but I consider it more speculative than investment. So just be prepared for volatility. We've all seen how that's happened with cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. So those are just little examples of things to be careful with over time, because you can get yourself caught up or excited, and sometimes people get greedy, and greed can get you in trouble too.
Yeah. So if you're talking to a younger person that's just got their first job and they're ready to go out and conquer the world, what would be your single most important piece of advice for them as they're starting out and trying to figure that all out?
One of my favorite quotes is, "Don't let the things you want make you forget the things you have." That's not really a financial quote, but gratitude's huge in our company culture, clients, anything in life. I think that's good. But again, you don't know what you don't know. So you can do some of your own research, much like a lot of people do their own research on MD News, and they try to diagnose themselves a medical. Or, a better example where I'm finding myself guilty is I haven't hired a physical trainer yet, so ask me how many times I've been to the gym this year. Accountability from someone in the finance space is important. So getting someone trust that can help you with where you are and that maybe doesn't sell a product is a good idea. We sell a service, not a product. Mm-hmm. So I think I mentioned it before, we don't sell insurance. We did years ago. So if anybody hires us, we can help them get insurance. We can help them find an accountant or estate planner, but we sell a service on financial planning. So partnering with someone like that has your best interest at heart and fiduciary is probably a priority. And you don't have to have money to find those people. That's kind of evolved over the last 20 years. You used to have a lot of money to get access to a certified financial planner. So partnering is a good idea because they should take care of you and let you know what you might not know, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have anything else that you want to share with people that are going to be watching this video?
No. I think the end of the day, the important thing that I enjoy most about our role as a financial planner is to help people live the ideal life. So a lot of people use money as a guilt or getting ahead, but at the end of the day, it's the tool. So we try to help people that haven't slowed down enough to realize what they want their ideal life to look like, how they can use money to get there and not sacrifice the security that they have with money. So some people just, it's a life that's just busy. And there's an Alice in Wonderland quote, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter which direction you choose, right or left, right? And so vision and what you want it to look like is half of it, and then you're heading in that direction. So use money to do that and you end up in a good place, but have someone holding you accountable to it is good too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Mark.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.